The photographer Gary Winogrand famously said, "I photograph to see what the world looks like in photographs." Despite frequent approving citations of this aphorism, few creators and critics take it seriously. Often called one of the great street photographers, Winogrand is best known for portraying American life in the mid-century with a snapshot aesthetic, visits to the zoo, street protests, press conferences, airports, rodeos. As the author Barbara Diamondstein once said of him, Winogrand's pictures celebrate ordinary events and transform them with precise timing and framing into astute visual commentaries on modern life. But Winogrand betrays this interpretation. In fact, he seems generally uninterested in events and commentaries. He once referred to Martin Luther King's 1963 Birmingham campaign as "that bus thing." "As far as photographing goes," says Winogrand, "all I'm interested in is the pictures, frankly. I went to events, and it would have been very easy just to illustrate that idea about the relationships between the press and the event, you know. But I felt that from my end, I should deal with the thing itself." Winogrand rejects the snapshot aesthetic characterization. The ordinary snapshot is really nothing of the sort. It's precisely made rather than accidental. "Everybody's 15 feet away and smiling," says Winogrand. "The sun is over the viewer's shoulder. That's when the picture is taken, always. It's one of the most carefully made photographs that ever happened," he explains. The same goes for the name street photographer, which suggests the careful attention of the Cartier-Bresson style decisive moment. Gary Winogrand made photographs of the things themselves, lots of them. Over 300,000 unpublished images were found after his death, along with 2,500 undeveloped rolls of film. He took them indiscriminately, using rangefinder cameras and zone-focused wide-angle lenses, so he didn't have to fiddle with his equipment. His works are not commentaries, they are precisely the opposite. Gary Winogrand makes photographs not to capture what he sees, but to see what he will have captured. That's what it means to take photographs, to see what the world looks like in photographs. People, events, and social conditions aren't in Winogrand's photographs so that they might become his subjects, as in Susan Sontag's evidentiary, memorialist, participatory photography. Instead, they are there just because they were there, because light bent through an aperture onto emulsion, because Winogrand is a person and people sometimes find themselves at press conferences and zoos and rodeos. Just because. The people and events are there as a kind of exercise, a temptation. Is it possible to see beyond them, beyond the pilot and the cowboy and the rhino, to see the fluorescence and the dirt and the chain link? To grasp the photograph's ontology as flat like its surface? This requires work. Yet it doesn't much matter what kind of image you choose. That's why Winogrand took so many, so indiscriminately. Look at an image. What's in it? What else? This process of cataloging being in a context, which I call ontography, is particularly durable in photography, that medium that so disinterested Deleuze and others for its lack of flux. The images published on dearphotograph.com offer another perspective on Winogrand's misunderstood challenge. It's a website that curates photographs of pictures from the past in the present. Photographers orient a photo with the space in which it was taken years earlier, and recapture a scene with the scene in it, like a mise en abîme. These photos do exactly what Diamondstein and Sontag want photographs to do, to create human experiences. A first day of school, a wife since passed away, a moment of concentration. They are touching and heart-wrenching, documenting age and loss and regret and gratitude. But they are also more than that, or they can be, if we force ourselves to see them the way Winogrand encourages. A deer photograph is photographed to see what a photograph looks like in a photograph. It's ontographically helpful because it ruptures the sentimentalism that it also produces. All the human memory and vulnerability and experience is still there, but with a strange loop that pulls inanimate things up to the level of human surfaces. The door jamb. The empty summer lawn where the fall leaves collect the paint on a shed, the thumbs that hold photographs, the indifferent asphalt, the park bench that cradles without care, the bricks unsusceptible to sorrow. Object-oriented ontology is a first principles philosophy, one that adds a focus on individual entities to the rejection of the human world correlate. The orientation in OOO normally modifies ontology, which is oriented toward things of all types and scales. That's the abstract part of the metaphysics, and we need it. But we also need the concrete part, the metaphysician's practice. Object-oriented ontology is thus not only the name for an ontology oriented toward objects, but a practice of learning how to orient towards objects ourselves, and, mise on a beam-like, how to orient toward object orientation. It's too hard for most viewers to take Winogrand's project seriously, because they're too busy looking for social commentary in his photographs to see them for what they are, pictures that help their viewers see things in pictures. The project of object-oriented ontology is just as simple, yet still just as hard. To see things in pictures and everywhere else, too. To see the world of things as things in a world, rather than our world, with things in it.